ain't trying to fuss, but it's a must, you gon' respect this. Plus it nuts with touch the dust, you try to check this. You ain't insane, I write your name down on my checklist. You think I'm playing, I leave you laying, I leave you breathless. I'm not a heathen, please believe I'm breathing for a reason. Until I'm bleeding, really feeling this world is so misleading. Sacrifice your life at night while facing certain sorrow. Your existence is at stake, you might not make tomorrow. Lost my heart when I was crossed, don't wanna make amends. Much too smart, my afterthought, don't wanna make no friends. If you're a fraud, then it's so hard to get a second chance. You could die in front of my eyes, don't get a second glance. As human beings, instead of being so many try to be. You ain't seen what I have seen in my society. So F the killers, F the dealers, F the police. Middle finger in the sky till I died, no peace. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. If you gon' tease me, better please me, cause I just can't take it. I'm not a rapist, but I'll whip you, then I'll strip you naked. There is no mercy for your gender, bend you over quickly. Keep my name on your brain, bet you won't forget me. You don't love me, I don't love you, you get no affection. You get no passion from assassin, only an erection. When I was broke, I had no hope, I didn't have a chance. You get no money from me, no kissing, no hugging, and no romance. I told you once, I told you twice, but seems you didn't listen. Won't be a victim to your constant lies and contradiction. Now to you rappers and you yappers with your punchlines. The game is almost over, now it's crunch time. Said you were sick of me, your medicine was dissing me. Should've checked the side effects and how you missing, see. I choked your throat for what you wrote, you were not a singer. You don't get the thumbs up, you get the middle finger. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. I can't seem to hide all the pain I feel inside. The way I'm living life is kinda like I already died. Forgive my sins in the past, the future, and the present. F the liars in the choir, oh yeah, F the reverend. Told you I ain't giving up until they bury me. Ain't sissy, you strong enough to even carry me. All the liars dying in the fire in the end. In this world we're so divided over dividends. Spend the last of your stash, collecting fake. Bet your cash turn to ash in that collection plate. I'm not religious, but they fill us with this nonsense. If they could, then they would kill us with no conscience. I ain't preaching, I'm just teaching, reaching for your soul. I ain't nothing like the deacon, I'm speaking what I know. Only God knows the truth, I just wait and see. With my middle finger up, waiting patiently. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger up at all times, I ain't lying. Middle finger up at all times, I ain't lying. Middle finger up at all times, I ain't lying. Middle finger up at all times, I ain't lying. Middle finger to you and you and you and you and you, yeah. Middle finger to you and you and you and you and you, yeah. Middle finger to you and you and you and you and you, yeah. Middle finger to you and you and you and you and you, yeah.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby. All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk Reviews. Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonnar from UFC, The Ultimate Fighter finale. And we also have a special guest tonight. This will actually be our first interview that we did, that we're doing, where we are going to actually interview a real-life MMA fighter, Trevor Schnurpel. I'm probably going to mess that name up. Please forgive me with that. So let me bring the two co-hosts in real quick. What's up, fellas?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on? What's going on? What's up, Straight Talk Society?
All right. So we got this interview lined up. So tonight he must have stepped out for a little bit. Oh, okay. I see him coming back in the back. But we got this interview lined up, and we're also going to review Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar. Real quick, what was your thoughts on the UFC fight night last night? I thought it was great from what I saw.
Yeah, it was definitely great.
A lot of good fights. A lot of good knockouts. The main event was a good fight. I enjoyed it. I got no complaints here.
Yeah, that gin got to me a little bit last night, so I fell asleep on like third round of the main event. I had to watch it back this morning, but yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good fight night.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep on the main event also. It was just too long. I mean, the show started at 5:30, ended after midnight, but from what I saw, it was a bunch of finishes. It was great. So let me see. Yeah, he's not in the back again, but I thought it was great, man. A bunch of finishes like that. If you're trying to get somebody back into the UFC like me, and that's the show that you put on, then I'm all in. But one thing I did notice, there was a lot of WWE action in there as far as the promos, and just I don't know.
Yeah, Dana White
seemed like a little.
He kind of snapped on Clay Guida.
Oh, because of his fake retirement?
Yeah, he was like, he don't like guys doing that to get airtime. He was like, we running a live show.
Yeah, it just came off like a Yeah, it just came off like a wrestling promo to me. So, all right. So I see our guest is anxiously waiting in the back. So we're gonna bring you on real quick. But before we bring you on, I want to just show you some of his work. So y'all sit tight. Yep, and just like that, it was over real quick. So one thing off the bat that you guys notice, we share the same name. So, but the only thing about it, I entertain people behind the microphone. He entertains people with his fists. Let me see, he's trying to connect in the back, and as soon as he gets connected, we'll bring him on. But yeah, shout out to Jose and Bonez for getting this interview, man. This is like the first time we're doing this. You know, even on the wrestling show, we've been trying to get our friend that's a wrestler. We've been trying to get him to come on the show, but that's kind of like pulling teeth. So this is the first time that we're actually. Hey, Trevor, if you can't get on that way, just hit the link that's in the chat. Because I see you keep popping in and out. Yeah, so hit that link in the chat. So while we're waiting for him, who won the fight of the night and things like? Okay, here he is. All right, here he is. I don't want to prolong it anymore. So welcome to the Straight Talk Society. MMA fighter Trevor Schnurpel, and I hope I said it right. What's going on? Hold on. Unmute yourself. All right. We can hear you. What's going on? Uh-oh. Say something, Trevor. And he unmute you. Yeah, he might be having.
That's why he keep dropping off and coming in because I was having problems with my headphones too.
Yeah, he might be having some headphone issues. But who won the fight of the night and all that stuff?
I'm not sure who got what award, but I know both of those guys who retired, Ed Herman and Zach Cummings. Remember, it was two older guys. Oh,
Cummings retired also?
Yeah, they both retired. That was in his hometown, and he retired. But I know they got an extra 50 G's. I don't know. I think Barbosa got an extra 50 G's. And
that knee was nasty. That was a nasty knee.
And I think I don't know. They gave 50 G's to a bunch of people. I'm not sure who got what award though.
Trevor, unmute. Oh shit! He keeps going. He keeps going out. He's saying the mic isn't connected.
Maybe let me see.
Yeah, well, the link is in the chat also. So you want to try to get on that way. So he's saying it's showing that he's connected now. Y'all sit tight with us. This is a live broadcast. This isn't like the podcast where I could do all this stuff in post-production, but this is live. I actually dropped a new podcast today. For those of you who still listen to the podcast version of the show, and I appreciate you guys for doing that so much. Uh-oh, now Zay fell off. What's going on?
I'm still here.
Yeah, man. But those fights last night were sick, man. I'm talking about like the vicious knee strikes. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
bro, that knee from Barbosa was so nasty, and the way Buddy just dropped and he just fell. It came out of nowhere too.
now I don't think the young lady that that tapped, well, that they said tapped. I don't really think she tapped, but I guess it was either tap or lose your arm. I guess that was the case. Yeah, Zay's back.
Yeah, that was my fault. I did that myself. That was my own doing.
All right, so now Trevor's back in the back. Yeah, but yeah, she was gonna. Yeah, just y'all bear with us, man. We having a little technical difficulties here, but yeah, I thought they should have kind of let her try to fight her way out of that. But then when you think about it, she probably was going to lose that arm. So
yeah, her arm was going to get broken, definitely.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Because I've been in arm bars like that, and on the receiving end and giving them, and it's like a matter of seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like a matter of like half a second, whether you tap or don't tap, or whether you let go or not let go before your arm can just snap. It's like a real thin line,
Hey Zay, if you could if you could get in contact with him, just let him know it's asking him to connect his mic and his camera. Like it's saying that the device isn't connected. So I don't know if this is, I mean, obviously he's on the phone, but I don't know if it's a Wi-Fi issue or what. Yeah, because it won't even let me add him to the stream.
Let me in order for me to do so, I'm gonna have to jump off for a second.
Yeah, that's fine. Just hit him up and let him know what's going on.
All right.
Yeah, I think me and Bones, we done been through this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But so the show started at 5:30 and it wasn't over until 12. Like that's a 7-hour show.
Yeah, and thankfully the fights were good last night, so it kept me entertained throughout the whole night. But if you had, a bunch of fights go to decision, like a lot of boring fights, then yeah, it would have made it seem a lot worse. You know what I mean? But thankfully the fights were good, so it made it kind of fly by to me.
So that was WrestleMania 36, one of them, the one that was like 7.5 hours long. Just a long drawn boring show with crazy matches. But like you said, I started watching about 8 because I thought Zay told me that the main event was going to be at 8. And then when I saw what time it started, I'm like, well, yeah, the main event should be at 8. But then when I kept seeing them like fight after fight after fight, I'm like, damn, what the hell going on?
Yeah.
I guess he was saying the main card was starting at 8.
Right, yeah, the main card started at 8, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything that I saw, man, even the couple fights that went to decision were good. I don't know the names, man, but all I'm saying, like that heavyweight fight where my man retired at the end.
Cummins, yeah.
Bro, that Joker got a chin. That Joker got a chin out of this world, man. I mean, he was getting hit. Man, he was getting hit with some blows. I was like, damn. I was hoping his corner would have stopped him from coming back out.
Yeah. But usually when it's like a long card like that, I might not catch the early prelims that start at 5:30. Because usually you have 3 fights that start at 5:30, but I might catch the ones that start at like 8 o'clock. I catch in, from then on. And then I can also go back and watch the other fights. But last night, yesterday, I started watching at 5:30.
And
one thing I won't.
Your mic is popping too. I know the weather. I know it's starting to get dark over here, so
yeah,
everybody may start tripping sooner or later. But no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say usually they have fights at the Apex Center, which is basically like no fans. They had that when COVID started. And honestly, I feel like they should get away from having fights at the Apex because, like last night, the energy in the crowd was electric, and the fans were, tuned in all night and everything like that. The live fans, but then obviously it's very cost effective and economic to have it at the Apex because it saves so much money on flight travel and hotel costs and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if they'll ever fully get away from it completely, but in my opinion, it should.
Yeah, at the he's having a hard time getting on. Every time he gets in, it kicks right back off. So Zay mentioned it earlier too with Clay Guida, with him basically doing a wrestling promo because I called it at the beginning. I didn't even know Clay Guida still was fighting. And when I saw that he was fighting, I'm like, well, he's getting his ass kicked pretty good. So, I mean, he's going to wrap it up at the end too. And then the whole emotional, let me take my gloves off and let me wrap them around. I'm like, yeah, okay. He's getting ready to quit. And then for him to say, oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of that. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah, I did not like that at all, man. Well, I mean, it's showmanship about it. I mean, that's why I think this I think that this WWE influence is going to seep in more than you guys want to believe, because everybody, regardless of what they say, everybody loves pro wrestling. Like it's not a secret that a lot of these guys, probably not anybody current, but they've taken bits and pieces of older wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
look at Chael Sonnen. He's like the epitome of that.
Yeah. Chael Sonnen would have done a fantastic job being in WWE. Like Zay, you having the same problems too?
No, I'm back on. He said it won't let his mic or his camera connect.
Yo.
Hold on. It was. Yeah. See, there's nothing that I could do from this end. Yeah, because it shows him in the back. It shows him in the back, but I won't even let me add him because it's saying that he's not connected to anything. What about there should be options, like when you go into the StreamYard, those 3 buttons on the corner. There should be options.
Yeah,
there should be options that'll tell you, kind of walk you through what to do. Oh man, this this is a downside. There's a downside of being live, y'all. Stuff happens, man.
They get to see it all.
Yeah, you get to see the behind the scenes. See, on the podcast, anything that goes wrong. I remember there was a show we did where it took me like an hour just to connect to my guests, and nobody could know because I just chopped that part out. There's been shows where I had to take pieces. Like me and Venkat did a show, and we literally had to record it in 3 sections because it kept messing up. So I had to cut it and stitch it together and just. So yeah, man, it is a lot that goes on when you try to do like these type of shows, when you're doing stuff of substance that you just, it shit happens sometimes. But I definitely want to hear from him, especially that he has a fight coming up in a few weeks.
Right.
So I definitely want to get that going. But yeah, like I said, we'll just, we'll trudge along until he gets on. But what happened in the you said you fell asleep in the main event. Max Holloway did win, right?
Yeah, he won. I watched it back this morning. He won.
It was decision?
Yeah.
Okay, because you guys were telling me, oh, that's the fight that you need to watch. That's the fight you need to watch. I think the fight before that was the one. Was it the one before that?
It was 2 fights prior, I think. Oh no,
yeah, but
I don't even know if that was the main. I know what you're talking about, though. You're talking about
the co-main event was Barbosa.
Who was the co-main?
Barbosa with the
Edson Barbosa.
And who did he fight? Hey, Trevor, say something. So he's on. Hey, Trevor, you hear me? Yeah, he's on, but he just can't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's not letting them. Yeah, because he is on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're having some issues with our guest, but yeah, was it who? So who,
Edson Barbosa fought Billy Quarantillo.
and who was the fight before that?
The fight you're talking about is the fight with T.J. Brown versus Bill Algeo.
The one with the knee in the corner, right?
Oh no, that's the co-main event.
Okay, so yeah, that's the one
that ended in the first round.
Okay, so that's not the one. I'm talking about the one where it was like a war, man.
You talking about the one where Bill Algeo was losing? He lost the first round and came back and choked dude out in the second round.
Yeah,
right?
okay, that could be it. But but that fight,
but it was one before that on the prelims where Brendan Royval knocked somebody out with a knee and then he hit him with a little jab right after.
Bro,
like
these
knee jab and then followed up with shots on the ground.
These knee strikes are like the sickest thing.
Can I just take a second? I want to take a second to shout out Brandon Royval because every time I see him fight, he brings it in the octagon. You know what I mean? Every single time. He's coming in there, he's looking to finish. Because, certain fighters, they have the skill set to finish, but they try to play it safe and they try to, win on the Georgia scorecard and stuff like that, but not him. He coming out to finish every time.
Hey, Trevor, you're
his mic keep now what did he just say? Hold on, he shot me a text. I gotta be careful how I navigate on my phone because I press the wrong button and it'll boot me out.
I'm assuming he's not in front of a computer.
His mic keeps losing connection. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, unless he wants to watch the screen, he doesn't have to use the mic. Yeah, if he doesn't want to, unless he wants to look at the screen, he doesn't have to use the mic. He could just either talk through the speaker or hold it to his ear.
Hold on.
Yeah, because it was getting, for whatever reason, for me, it was getting to a point where I was trying to get on the streams and I just couldn't. Like whenever you would hear me, I'd sound like I was underwater and things like that. So I don't know what the hell was going on with that. Like that shit was driving me crazy. And let me see. Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to. All right, so he's back there now. So you're on. Trevor, can you hear us? Yeah, something's going on. Let me see. Yeah, and yeah, it's not connecting because I'm trying to unmute him and it won't let me do it. In the words of the great Jim Ross, we're live, pal. I do want to say this. As I see Venkat in the chat. Today is the birthday of his brother, Vish, and Silent Assassin. You guys hear me play his music all my intro songs on this and the podcast are done by him. And what year is this? 2023. So we lost him in 2020. But today is his birthday. So, I want to give a shout out to the Silent Assassin and, say, sleep well. Shit sucks, man. You were gone taken so early, but hopefully we could keep your memory alive. It just sucks, man. Like when you grow up with somebody, somebody since elementary school. I think I met him in the 4th grade, and to find out that he passed a few years ago. Yeah, that shit sucks, man. But today is his birthday, so I just wanted to give him a birthday shout out. I see his brother in the chat, so I just wanted to recognize him for that. Man, yeah. So
that sucks. R.I.P. Man, my condolences. I can't even imagine like losing my brother. Like that's one of them things, how people say, "Oh, I lost somebody close to me too." I know what you're going through. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, I could just imagine, because I'm Facebook friends with his mom and everything, so I can imagine how hard it is for her today. Just even when, because he does all my intro music and stuff is from him, so it's like whenever, so even sometimes when I hear the songs and stuff, I'll be like, damn, I'll be sitting back here before I start the show and I'm listening. I'm like, damn, man. Like the man dropped so much music and I don't think it ever got a chance to be out the way it should be. So it's just like that shit sucks. But so in the event that
every time, my bad. He said every time you come in, it'll work for the first 5 seconds, but we keep getting muted. Then his mic cut off and we get unmuted.
Huh. And I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing that I could do from my end over here. Let me hold on. You guys give me like 1 minute. Let me try something.
All right. So hey bro, you heard that Brendan Royval is gonna be the backup fighter now for Moreno and Pantoja?
Pantoja? That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Who you like in that
me
fight,
too.
by the way?
Pantoja beat him once already, but I'm gonna go with Brendan Moreno. I feel like he's not the same fighter he was. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was good to see Barbosa get a W.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming. Honestly, I picked Billy Q to win by like a 3-round decision. I thought he was gonna outlast him and use his endurance to beat him, but that knee was nasty though. Who you got in that fight night card, the main event? Blaze versus Pavlovich.
I'm gonna go Blade. I feel like Pavlovich is a beast. But he gonna end up getting taken down. He throw a lot of wild strikes, and I feel like once he get taken to the ground, it's over from that.
Yeah, I'll say probably 3rd round TKO or submission. If it's gonna be a TKO, it's gonna be ground and pound.
Yeah, absolutely. People sleep on Curtis Blades ground and pound.
I know. I was gonna say I feel like he should get the next title shot after Stipe and Jones fight each other.
Right. I agree. He actually could. You could even say that it would be warranted if he was put ahead of Stipe. You feel me? Since Stipe been in there for so long.
I know that Stipe lost his last fight.
Like 3 years. Yeah.
All right, I was trying to see something, but hold on. Let me try something. I want to see if this works. Because if this, I'm gonna have to try something. If this works, then 2 things will happen. I've found something else out, and we may be able to rock out. Let me see.
I'm pretty excited to go to those fights on the 29th.
The one for Trevor, right?
Yeah.
All right. So in the event that he can't make it on, hold on. Let me see something. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you hear?
Music.
Give me his phone number and put his phone number in the private chat.
All right, give me a second. I'm gonna have to probably it might boot me off when I go to my contact. I just come back.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was thinking about this. I've seen it done. I just wanted to make. I didn't know if I could do it yet, so I wanted to see. Yeah, thank you guys for bearing with us, man. We're going. You always talk about this show being so unpredictable, man. This is very, very unpredictable right now.
Let me see. Y'all can still hear me?
Yeah. Make sure you put it in the
Okay.
private chat, not on the
I got you.
not on the regular. Hopefully, because I'm gonna just try to call them on air. So if I could do that, then we could interview him on air. I mean, you won't see him, and he won't be able to see anything that's on the screen, but it'll be better than
nothing.
Yeah, it'd be better than nothing. We could deliver as promised. Yeah, you still looking for the number?
No, I'm pasting it right now.
Oh.
I gotta be very careful how I navigate through this, or else it's gonna pull me out.
All right, I got it. Send them a message and let them know that I'm gonna call them on air just in case.
I got you.
Let's see what happens. I hope my phone don't be tripping. You guys can hear that ringing?
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, Trevor. This is Trevor.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. Hey, can you guys hear me out there in YouTube?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
So every time I logged on, my mic would be working for like 5 seconds, but I couldn't hear anything y'all were saying. It would cut out.
You won't.
And then I would hear you all again.
So
then my camera cut out and everything.
It's a technicality that never happened before, but it's all good. As long as they can hear you out there, we're gonna go ahead and do this right over the phone.
Let them know he live right now.
Yeah, you live right now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I just had to call you on the phone, so you can still hear me clear. Everybody out there can hear us.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear them?
Yo.
Is he saying anything right now?
Oh, he probably can't. He probably can't hear you guys.
Right.
So okay, yeah, he can't hear you guys, but he could only hear me. In order to hear you guys, he would have to be listening to it on YouTube. So, yeah, we just gonna have to kind of navigate through this. So on the phone with me now, I have Trevor Schnurpel. We share. Now, did I say that is a Schnurpel? Schnurpel.
Yeah,
Schnurpel.
Pretty close.
So first question I got to ask you though, and Zay and Bonez are in the back, so if they need to chime in with anything, they'll just tell me. But they could hear you, but you can't hear them. So first thing I got to ask you, man, why MMA?
I honestly don't. I don't know. Honestly, I've had a lot of people ask me that. And I think, a lot of people say, "Oh, I was just born with it. It's just in me. I'm a fighter," But like, I kind of did. It was a little bit. I was born with it a little bit. I've just always had the interest, in doing it, and I think my dad had a little bit to do with it as well. Because like growing up, I'd hear him tell stories about like getting in street fights and stuff, right? So I was like, oh, I want to be able to kick ass like that dude. And so that's pretty much it, really. I was just like, oh, I want to be a badass,
So how long you been doing it?
Like seriously, probably 6 years or 6-7 years. I don't know. 2017. I remember I went to a new gym to start training seriously March 1st of 2017. That's when I really started training seriously at a good gym.
And Oh,
from
go
there,
ahead.
I just been moving around and stuff.
So what gym are you with now? Are you with one of the big names or a smaller name?
Right now I'm at Hard Knocks 365. It was a bigger gym, but there's not many pros that go there now. So it branched off from, it used to be Black Zillions back in the day. Originally, honestly, a lot of people from American Top Team, they were like having disagreements over there. So like a few people broke off, made their own gym, which was the Black Zillions. And then
Rashad used to started Black
owner of
Zillions.
that,
Rashad Evans,
I forgot his
I
name,
believe.
but the guy that
Yeah,
was
Rashad
funding it
Evans.
all, he died. And so the head coach and a couple other coaches, I think, opened up Hard Knocks 365. The head coach is Henry Hoops. He's a pretty well-known Dutch kickboxing coach. He's pretty well-known in the game. But, yeah, him and like a couple other wrestling coaches opened Hard Knocks 365. And that was going for a while. And then they got sponsored by like I think it was like a hospital, Sanford Health. And then the gym's name was called Sanford MMA. And now they got that new energy drink company, Killcliff, sponsoring the gym now. So now it's called Killcliff FC. Killcliff FC, I think. Something
So
like that.
that was going to be my next question. What's the name of the promotion that you fight for?
The name of the last one was Combat Night. This next one is gonna be, I forgot the name. I gotta go back and look, but I want to say it's like AFL or something. Let me go back and find it.
Or like American Fight League or something like that?
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a whole bunch of little fight leagues down here. There's like XFN, Rise. There's Combat.
The local promotions. I'm pretty sure they don't sign you to a contract. You just fight wherever.
So yeah, so Zay is saying you basically is like you get contracted out. So the local promotions, they basically just sign you to the contract, and then you go fight wherever.
No, I'm saying like he like a free agent, like he's a free agent.
Just like kind of post when they're having events, and where. And then you can hit them up or get your coach to hit them up and be like, hey, I want to get on this card. And then they'll find you an opponent for that particular event. It's not like,
oh, okay.
Once you fight for them, you have to keep fighting for them or you have to sign some kind of contract like that. It's just, if you see there's an event that's going to be in the area and you want to hop on, then you ask them to find you an opponent and hopefully everything, goes smoothly and they find you somebody without anyone else pulling out. Because I've had a lot of fights that were scheduled that never went through because, a lot of people will be like, they'll get in the mood like, yeah, I want to fight. And then when it gets closer to the fight, like when time comes around to like, when it's like fight week, they're like, shoot, my fucking knee hurts. So they're like, yeah, maybe next one. Put me on the next card. And so a lot of people will pull out because they have some kind of excuse.
Well, not for nothing. The video that I played at the beginning, nobody really want to fuck with you. I guess I could just say that.
Yeah, honestly, since I known him, he had at least 4 fights that people pull out of.
A thing a little bit. I feel like a lot of people have trouble. Other people more than others, but I feel like it's a more common thing that people pull out of fights down here.
So I wish, because it kind of sucks that Zay and Bonez can't hear you. No, you can't hear them.
Oh, yeah.
So they're responding to you right now, like as if you could hear them.
What do they say?
They're just saying like how in the 4 fights they've seen you in, how you kick ass and stuff like that. It's just, but
I was saying that he had a lot of opponents pull out since I known him. At least like 4 or 5 opponents pull out fight week since I know him.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm trying to hear what they're saying. These are circumstances that I've never had to deal with. Whereas not being able to have everybody on the panel, so it's like I'm listening to you, but then listening to them.
Right.
So when is April 29th is your next fight, right?
Yeah, April 29th will be the next one.
And that's going to be where?
I want to say it's in Hollywood at some casino, not the Hard Rock.
Gulfstream Park.
Gulfstream Park.
Gulfstream, that's the one.
So what's your MMA record?
MMA, I'm actually only 1-0. I've just had one MMA fight down here. I've tried to schedule a bunch of other fights, but they all fell through. I just had a Muay Thai fight. That one was actually supposed to be MMA, but my opponent fell through.
Ask him how many Muay Thai fights he had in kickboxing.
Thai, and now this one is going to be MMA.
Okay, so I didn't know that you did multiple. So how many Muay Thai and MMA fights have you had?
You mean kickboxing? Muay Thai?
Kickboxing. Sorry, kickboxing.
So I don't think I've ever had any kickboxing fights, but I had 3 Muay Thai fights when I went to Thailand.
You going out? You going out?
What's that?
No, you were going out just then.
Oh, okay. I don't know if what you heard last, but I've had like 4 Muay Thai fights total if you count the last one, but I had 3 in Thailand a few years back.
Oh, what was that like?
It was pretty sick, honestly. I'm trying to get back out there as soon as possible. It was like one of the best experiences I've ever had, and it was awesome. I'm trying to get back as soon as possible to get out there, do some more training, and get some more fights in. Is
the training there more intense here, like the type of shit that you see on TV with Jean-Claude Van Damme and all that stuff?
It's in some aspects it's a little more intense. Like the regular duration of a class here is like an hour. You're training for an hour at a time. That's like a striking class. There, the classes are 2 hours. Here, they're inside a nice AC gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's not, doesn't have AC, there's windows open with it. Wind blowing inside. There, it's just outside under like a canopy type thing. It's all like open air. There's no inside when you're training in Thailand. It's just like a cover over the mats. So it's hot, it's humid. It's like kind of the similar weather down here. Actually, it's pretty much exactly the same. It's either super fucking hot and humid, or it's raining its ass off.
So
all the time.
What? So I mean, and you could tell me too. The women are probably kind of easier over there, right?
I didn't mess with a lot of the women because you don't know if they have wieners or not.
Yeah.
A lot of them you can tell right away. Some of them they got pretty good disguises on, so I didn't even take any chances. But you look at a chick and she's got a freaking pretty strong jaw on her, and you're like, I know it.
Yeah. So with that comment right there, lets me know that you'll fit in perfect over here. You'll fit in just right over here on the Straight Talk Society. So what would you say? What would you say your best? Like what is your style that defines you? Like if we were doing a promo on you, what would we be like? We got to watch out for Trevor's what? Wrestling, grappling, what?
His kicks. Hey, let me just say he got some vicious kicks.
I'm not sure if I have if one aspect of my game is better than the other. I feel like I'm pretty well-rounded. I'm trying to improve all things. Like I'm trying to be equal in all things, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, and everything. I'd probably say my stand-up is what I'm best at, but I feel like I'm making a lot of improvements in my wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like my first MMA fight, that wasn't really a good representation of how well I can wrestle because I got freaking dumped on my head. or on my upper back. We'll say it wasn't my head, and so that's not really a good representation of how good I can wrestle. But I've made so much more improvement since then, and I'm just excited to see what happens the next time.
All right, last couple of questions, and only reason is because it's kind of doing them a disservice that they can't actually talk to you. But Zay did mention your kicks. I got a video where you hit a dude with a body shot, and I was like, oh boy.
Oh yeah, that last fight that I had, the Muay Thai fight, that was right at the end of the round, actually, right before the bell went off. So I timed that one pretty good.
Yeah, he crumpled like a sack of shit. Like I was like, oh, that was it.
He got mean leg kicks too.
That felt pretty sweet. That timed it nice.
So what's the ultimate goal? How long do you want to keep doing this for, or what's the ultimate? Do you want to ever see? Do you ever see yourself in the UFC or?
Oh, for sure. I plan on I'm still amateur, so I'm really just getting experience right now. But I plan on going pro either by the end of this year or early next year, and then obviously, UFC is the end goal. But like, I just want to be like unbeatable for anyone, not just my weight class. Because like a lot of people say, I don't want to be the best at my weight class, but like if I was the best at 145, that's only so cool until I run into the best at 155, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, obviously right now I'm focusing on being the best at my weight.
And what's your weight class?
I want to gain 145.
You 145.
Yeah. But I want to gain weight and get bigger so I will be able to beat everybody. I know it's highly unlikely that I'll run into like Francis Ngannou, but if I did, dude, we'll fucking give him a run. John Jones, I know it's really the chances of me and John Jones getting into it are really low, but like if we did, I want to be the guy that's coming out on top.
So okay, so that leads into my next question. What would be your ultimate, like weight class aside, what would be your ultimate UFC dream match for you?
Shoot, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Khabib.
Khabib?
Yeah, so I could be the only guy that whooped him.
Oh. Okay, that's a lofty. I thought you were gonna say like a Connor or something like that, but man, you shooting for the final
Connor's
boss.
not the same as he used to be, though.
Yeah, you're right. And
Khabib manhandled him, so.
So what is your family say about like the potential risk of you getting like knocked out, concussions, and all type of stuff like that?
My mom likes to remind me all the time that it's a stupid thing, that I like that it's a stupid idea to fight people and stuff. And she's like more accepting of it now, but she used to be like, this is just a hobby. You need to figure out what you want to do. This is just something you like doing for fun. Like you're gonna get yourself hurt and But I mean, she's starting to realize now that I'm serious about it and I'm just not stopping. So she's kind of more accepting now of it and more supportive. She still doesn't like it. She still would rather me do something else. But, she supports me and stuff. And my dad, he supports whatever I do.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
Good question.
That's why they call me Mr. Straight Talk. I can come up with any type of question.
That's a good question. Let me think. Ask me another one. Let's circle back.
So
a man with no backup plan. I like it.
I want what's the time for your fight on the 29th?
The time?
Yeah.
Like what time of day it'll be?
No, what time is the fight? Is the card like what, 8 o'clock? Something like that?
the event will probably like start at 5 or something. First fights will start at like 5 or something like that. I don't know. That's usually how it goes, though. They start somewhere around that time, and then things just kick off from there.
So even with
I
your
think, on the tickets it says start at 7.
okay, Zay saying that it starts at 7. So even with like your limited, your limited experience, like, as far as number of fights and stuff, where do they slate you on the card?
It's probably right in the middle. Honestly, I have no, I have no idea. I don't think they've even dropped like the whole card yet, like the list of fights and stuff that is going to happen.
Okay.
So I couldn't even tell you that yet right now.
And I got a couple. I hope you're thinking about that question I asked you, because I got like 2 more questions to ask you before I come back to that.
All right.
How much does fear play a factor in what you do? Like, have you ever gone into the ring scared?
It definitely plays a factor. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you and be like, "Oh, fucking, I'm scared of shit." And I wouldn't say I'm scared, but like the nerves are definitely there. And it's mainly just the lead up that's the worst part. Just before the fight, thinking about it, like knowing that you're about to go get in a fight, it's just nerve wracking. You're not like scared or anything. I say the most thing that I'm worried about, or thing I'm worried about the most, is just not like performing well. I'm not worried about losing as much as like looking good while I'm doing it. Like, I can lose, but as long as I look sharp, my technique looked good while I lost, then I know that I freaking did everything. Like, I was on point, but he just got me that time. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's very interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
The loss didn't matter as much as how you looked losing. So
Yeah.
so you'd
as long as I
rather
perform well.
So you don't want to go out and put on a CM Punk performance. You want to go out and you want to go put on a performance like the fight that we're going to talk about soon, a Stephan Bonnar.
Yeah. Well, no, not even like a Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez type situation.
Okay.
Just super crisp, just everything on point, like, and yeah.
Do you believe that do you believe that there's such thing as an unbeatable fighter?
John Jones?
Well, see, I've always said that for years, that John Jones that the person that's going to beat John Jones isn't. I mean, he's probably up and coming like you. It's not going to be anybody that's on this current.
Yeah.
Nobody in this current crop could beat somebody like that. But he is damn near about as perfect as you'll ever get, well rounded.
But I'm on his heels, though. I'm on his heels, you know.
Hey, I love to be. I'd love to be right there. Hey, win or lose, I'd love to be right there to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'll be great.
I'll try to get you a ticket for
If I didn't have I actually have a debate that night, the night of your fight. If I didn't, then I would damn sure be in the building, just because I've, Zay sent me your videos and he's talked you up a lot. And I've never been to a real mixed martial art. I haven't been to any type of fighting. Like, I go to wrestling all the time, but never been to boxing.
Hey, come on, that ain't no.
Hey, wait.
That's some acting.
Well, hey, according to what I saw last night, a lot of wrestling is starting to seep into MMA, is at least on the promo side.
That's for money, though. That's for money, not when it comes time to throw down, though. Nobody's faking anything.
Yeah. So, what the hell was I got? Zay, you got a question? I know he can't hear you, but I'll relay it. Zay Bonez.
How is this fight going? How does he envision? Who is his opponent, and how does he envision the fight going down?
All right. So Zay wants to know who's your opponent, and how do you envision this fight going down?
Who's my opponent, and then what?
And how do you see the fight going?
His name is Austin Sanders, I'm pretty sure, and it's his debut. That's all I know about him. I don't know what style is. I don't know if he's a wrestler, striker, or anything. I don't know how I see it going. That's just the fun part. Like, I'm still, like you said, I don't have a lot of fights yet. I'm still getting experience. So, like, I'm still figuring myself out, kind of. So, every time before a fight, I'm just, like, excited to see how much better I've gotten since the last time. And, like, how it's just going to play out. Because you can kind of steer what you're doing, but you can't really control anything in there.
So
it's like,
no, go ahead.
No, it's hard to explain. Like, things just, like, autopilot kicks on, and everything that you taught yourself, it starts taking over, and, like, there's not really a lot of thought that goes on.
I'm glad you said that. And I've never interviewed a fighter before, but I just like the questions are just now starting to come. I see a lot of times where a fighter, they'll go in with a game plan. They're like, all right, I'm going to wrestle this guy. This guy's weak at wrestling. I'm just going to ground and pound him. You know, I'm going to control him on the mat. But then when you actually get in there, his stand-up game is ridiculous, and you can't get him down. So you totally now have to pivot from everything that you went in there planning. Has that ever happened to you, that somebody threw you so much off your game that now you have to be like, oh shit, I got to do a whole 180 or 360 just to try to, make myself look decent?
Not yet anyways. I'm sure, like, as time goes on and the more fights I have, more experience I get, things like that will happen. But I haven't known enough about my opponents. Like, the fights I had in Thailand, I had no idea who they were until I got in the ring and I saw them right there across from me. Actually, that's not true. I saw them, like, on a fight poster, but, like, you can barely tell just by a picture, like, how big they are, what kind of style they have, like, just anything about them, really. So, I don't know. I've never really had to, like, get ready for someone's style yet.
Okay.
And most of my fights haven't made it far enough for me to, like, have to go to a plan B or anything.
That's right, because you're a finisher. You knock motherfuckers out. That's what you do.
That's right. That's right, dude.
Hey, bro. Hey, you don't get paid by the hour over here, buddy.
I'm trying to freaking finish it as soon as possible and go eat, because weeks leading up to it, I'm usually dieting pretty hard so I can make weight, and that's probably the hardest part of it all, is just not eating pizza and shit.
You're not the first. I heard Forrest Griffin say that before. I forget who he fought, but after the I want to say it was for the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, it was in the Ultimate Fighter finale. He did an interview a couple of weeks later, and they asked him, like, what were you looking forward to most after the fight? And he was like, going to Krispy Kreme. Like,
yeah, huh? No doubt. Like, and I'm not a big, like, junk food guy. Like, I don't like to eat bad a lot, but, like, I like to be able to if I wanna.
Yeah.
It gets rough.
Well, where's Bones? Hey, Bones, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You got any questions? You got any question you want to ask Trevor?
Yeah. Relating to food, I was gonna ask him, what's his favorite post-fight meal? Yeah,
So
what's his go-to meal?
Bones wants to know what's your go-to post-fight, your favorite post-fight meal.
Pizza every time.
Pizza every time. Oh, you heard that? Yeah, you could hear him.
A man off my own heart.
Every time pizza.
Hey, ask him if you remember the 3 Ps.
I like sushi a lot, but pizza's usually the go-to.
So Zay's asking if you remember. I know where this is going. Zay's asking if you remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps?
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Sounds familiar.
Why
no, I don't.
Why does it? I feel like it has
Popeyes and what?
Pizzas, Popeyes, and I'm.
Yeah. I remember.
In that order.
pizza, pussy, and Popeyes.
Hey, not a bad combination at all. I tell you that shit.
I wouldn't pass it up.
Not a bad combination at all. Hey, listen, man. I hate that it had to go to. I had to call you, and this was like a last minute thing.
Where I even back on that question that he didn't answer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
Oh yeah, I'd probably be doing some other kind of like extreme sport. I'd be a snowboarder. Like, I'd ride dirt bikes or like something fun, dude. I don't want to work the rest of my life. I know that.
I feel you. So you're just a thrill seeker.
I don't want to work for a living.
Yeah, I totally understand you, man. I hate having to get up every morning at 5 to go punch in.
Yeah, I might even just not even do anything. I might just be a hunter-gatherer and like live off the land. If I didn't do this, to be honest, I'd go out into the middle of the woods and survive. I feel like that'd be a lot more fulfilling.
Brock Lesnar type.
He does that?
Well, he loves to live. He lives off the grid a lot. He doesn't own like cell phones and stuff like that. They don't do all of that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he loves to just hunt his food, and because he lives in Canada.
Yeah, dude, I want to live out in the wild like nature intended. You ever seen Captain Fantastic?
Captain Fantastic, no.
Yeah, watch that movie. It's like a pretty good representation of what I'm gonna do with my family whenever I get rich. I'm gonna go and disappear out in the wilderness with them, with all my millions, and yeah, that'd be it.
Hey, sounds good. Well, listen, man, I'm here for it, man, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming by the Straight Talk Society. Like I said, I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I am glad that I was able to at least get you on the phone so we could hear from you just a little bit. So, will you come back after the fight?
When am I coming back?
Yeah, well, I want you to come back after the fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Whenever you want to have me on, I'm definitely down to hop back on here and talk a little more.
Okay, that'll work perfect. Somebody,
cool.
Yeah, somebody's trying.
I appreciate the opportunity as well, and I apologize about the technical difficulties earlier. I kept refreshing it. I kept like I was doing everything. I was going on Wi-Fi, taking the Wi-Fi off, plugging my headphones in, unplugging them, like I was trying everything twice.
Yeah, it happens. At one point I was able to jump on panels, and then towards the end, my phone would not allow me to get on StreamYard. So it happens, man. But I appreciate you coming by. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to you coming back after the fight. Hopefully Zay takes some good video. Landscape, Zay. Landscape.
Yeah, landscape.
I got you.
I'm gonna have to hand him my phone. I'm gonna have to hand him my phone and get a good quality on
there. Yeah, he'll take some video so I could upload and put it on the show and play it after our UFC fights and everything, man. So good luck in your fight, man.
I appreciate it.
Give them hell. So appreciate you coming by.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, peace.
All right, see you.
All right. All right, so we were able to salvage that. That was good. I was glad.
Yeah, good save, good pivot. You came through in the clutch.
Boy, you talk about having to think on the fly and just do stuff.
For real.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, I remember when I used to do my podcast, people weren't sitting in front of me. I would call them. I said, so let me try to call him in on my mixer, but I couldn't find my connector that goes to it. So I had to try it a different way, and it all worked out good. So I appreciate that, man. That was, seemed like a good dude, man. I can't wait to actually get him back on the show, after the fight. But yeah. So you there, Bonez?
Hey, you're a pretty good interviewer too, man. You got some good questions off the fly.
Appreciate it, man. I don't go off no script, man.
That's what makes it so much better, more impressive.
I feel a person out, and I just like, all right, I could ask him this. And once I heard him say the thing about the Thailand women, I was like, yeah, he'll fit in. He'll fit in perfectly. Because I don't know, you ever listen to some guys interview fighters and suddenly they be like the most bland and boring. You be like, God, Lee, man, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And it's just, man, like you get punched in the face for a living and you're so boring. But nah, he was cool, man. All right, so in the time we got left, let's get into this. Let's get into the greatest fight in UFC history. Even though you guys don't say, what is the greatest fight in UFC history?
Honestly, it's too many to choose from. Like when you brought up the idea of doing this series, I said when it's my turn to pick a fight, I'm gonna pick this fight, and that shit done changed like 10 times already.
Wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh no, I'm
hear you. Bonez.
Hey, Bonez. Yeah, I don't know where Bonez. You can hear me, Zay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah, I don't know where Bonez may have stepped away. His mic isn't muted, so I don't know. He may have stepped away for a little bit. Oh, now he fell off. So something must have happened. Yeah, we having all type of technical difficulties tonight, man. But it's all good. So let me run through my notes real quick before you guys break down this fight. Because I know you guys are gonna break it down technically and everything. So, all right, he's back. You there, Bonez?
Yo.
All right, yeah, we just having all type of problems tonight, but it's all good. So, like, what you think the best fight in UFC history is?
I don't have a number one solid pick, but I would say even I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but even the McGregor-Aldo fight is a bigger fight in UFC history, I would say.
You can't really say that was a better fight. He means
No,
a better fight.
No. I didn't say better. I said it was a bigger fight.
No, he's saying what was the best fight? That was 13 seconds, so you can't really.
Oh, okay. Do Choi and Carl Sorensen was a good fight.
Well, hold on, because you make a good point there. Yeah, because all the time I'm saying better. Okay, yeah, all the time I'm saying better. I'm not necessarily. I mean to say bigger, and when I'm saying bigger for what it did for the UFC. So
okay,
it
so
may
if,
not.
If you're saying bigger, I would say possibly Aldo and McGregor.
Yeah, but that was only 13 seconds.
But that was pretty big.
That fight, bro, solidified McGregor's status. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people question who McGregor was at that time, you know? And that was his biggest test. And at the time, Jose Aldo was the king of the 145-pound division.
I think he hadn't lost in like 9 years before that.
Yeah, he hadn't lost in forever. Because I knew him from the WEC.
And when you say big, I hate to do it, but I would have to throw Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez in there, because that was the first time in UFC history that somebody became a champion of 2 weight classes. And since he's done it, that's everybody's goal now. They want to be champ.
So you don't put like a Brock Lesnar versus Randy Couture in there just for the fact that Brock Lesnar basically was the crossover superstar?
No.
Nah.
And he put UFC on the map bigger than they ever were at that time with him coming over.
See, I guess it's hard for me to look at it like that because I was already a hardcore fan, but so I never really looked at it from that aspect. But that's definitely like a different dynamic that I didn't take into consideration.
All right, so let's so we want to talk about what I think is the biggest fight in UFC history, along with the majority of the pundits. So I just want to read over a couple of notes and then we'll get into the fight. So Dana White at the time, in the 15 years Dana White was the president of the UFC. It went from the brink of collapse to $1 billion juggernaut. So now it's being estimated that it could potentially be worth $11 billion.
Wow.
So prior to so this fight that we're going to talk about happened in 2005. So prior to this 2005 epic, the promotion was dying. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. The UFC was literally a dying brand. When the Fertittas, Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta, along with Dana White, were trying to keep it alive. So because here's what was happening. Somebody eating chips or something?
Nah.
The UFC has such an ugly stain on it from the early years of when I first knew about it, where you would have like your Hoist Gracies, and then so Hoist Gracie would be fighting a guy that's 10 times his size, and there was no weight limit and no time limits, no weight limits, and it was literally gladiator style. So they never kind of
like blood sport in real life.
Yeah. So they never really took it serious. Whereas, wrestling, they still don't take wrestling serious, but at least in wrestling, it was stomachable. It was marketable. So it was like, people weren't bleeding all over the place. So the Fertittas, they were trying to market it to a bigger audience. That's what they were doing because they were dying. They couldn't get anybody to, the pay-per-view buys weren't anywhere with what they are now. I mean, now they're doing $12 million gates. They're doing, $1-2 million pay-per-view buys. I mean, they're killing it right now. So, so what they did, they decided to have this basically a reality show called The Ultimate Fighter. And so what The Ultimate Fighter was intended to do was to take fighters and let you go behind the scenes and see that they aren't, because for years people thought that fighters were just these dummies that, I'm a man, hear me roar. They didn't think that they were like, I think at one time, Forrest Griffin was like an engineer at one point. So it's like these guys were real people, but when you see them in the octagon, you're like, oh, they're nothing but barbarians. So they decided to do this. Go ahead.
I think Forrest Griffin was a cop and Stephan Bonnar was the engineer.
Okay, yeah, well, I know one of them was an engineer. And so they did this tournament. They had them all in the house together, and Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture were the coaches for the series. So all the guys lived under one roof. They were divided into middle and lightweights. So they trained together. They competed against one another and in elimination fights every week for the final. So the final was going to take place where the winner would walk away with a 6-figure contract for the UFC. So in 2001, just for some backstory, the Fertitta brothers, their company Zuffa, bought the UFC for $2 million. And then they put Dana White as president of said company. Again, like I said, $2 million is what they spent. When this merger with the WWE goes on, the UFC will probably be valued at $11 billion. So you talk about getting the return on your investment. There you go. So the UFC is huge. So they had been spending all this money trying to get people, trying to promote the sport. But again, UFC was just seen as an ugly thing. Like, oh, only the lowest of low people watch UFC. That's how it was. That's how it seemed in the grand scheme of things.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when the Fertittas bought it, the one thing that they did, which killed all of that Kumite style antics, was they started trying to get it sanctioned by commissions. So in order to do that, they had to create the weight classes and whatnot instead of having just anybody fight anybody. No more 3 fights in one night to win the tournament and all that type of craziness. So yeah, I think that was how they was able to even get to the Ultimate Fighter and keep it in business as long as they did before that. even though they were still going down.
Yeah, and still with all of that, they still were on the verge of bankruptcy. So that just has to show you how that shows you how far they were in the doldrum. So it's like, I know when I first heard of UFC, like I saw UFC 1, the one, I think Royce Gracie won that one, but it was like, again, one guy fighting 3 times a night. And like, if you look at the guys he was fighting this guy that weighed like 400 pounds, and those fights were long and boring because a lot of it was just choking the guy out, or, it wasn't like how it is now. Now you see it as like what it is a legit entertaining ass sport, and these guys had to train for it. And back then it just seemed like any guy was like, hey, you want to fight? All right, come on. That's how it was in that first tournament. Like it looked like
they were basically getting like gym teachers and karate teachers and stuff like that, and people from karate gyms and stuff like that, and putting them in the cage against Horace Gracie and Gary Goodrich and Tank Abbott,
Tank Abbott. Who's better? Boxing versus karate versus jiu-jitsu versus whatever other style they had, kung fu. It was basically to see who had the best art.
So look at that, Tank Abbott. If any of you guys know who Tank Abbott is, nothing about Tank Abbott says MMA star. I mean, he was a tough guy. He was a brawler. He was a guy that'll go in there and just throw punches with you. But I mean, he had no technique, nothing like that. And a lot of that's what these guys were. They just go in and they just throw punches. It was tough. The Ultimate Fighter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was no skill. Like now, you say MMA, mixed martial arts, there's an art form to this. So you're not just going in there throwing wild haymakers and things like that. So now the Fertitta brothers, they come up with this idea, but the problem was no TV network wanted it. Nobody would pick it up. So it's like, okay, so I have this idea. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But no American television station wanted to do it. So it was hard. So as hard as it was, Zay talked earlier about the sanctions. As hard as it was getting it sanctioned and under some commissions, it was more difficult trying to get it on TV because nobody wanted it. America wouldn't buy into this. They couldn't even get sponsors to put their names on the octagon at this time. So instead of them selling the company, they decided to just throw $10 million of their own money in so they could cover the cost. So basically, when you do that, you're paying to have your product on TV. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys remember Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground, the
Classic.
El Rey.
Classic.
Yeah.
I love Lucha Underground.
The El Rey Network wasn't paying them. They were paying the El Rey Network to have that show on.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they weren't. Nobody was paying for that. I mean, it was their first season was fantastic, but nobody was paying that. They were paying El Rey Network to put that on. So that's kind of what this was. So anyway, we come to the finale. April 9th, you had the Ultimate Fighter finale. It was a free show that they put on. And let's see. So it came down. So all right. So Griffin and Bonnar was the Ultimate Fighter finale, but the card was headlined by Ken Shamrock versus Rich Franklin and a middleweight fight with Diego Sanchez and Kenny Florian. I remember Kenny Florian. He was one of those boring fighters, man. Like he was one of those guys that you had to like him to like him. It wasn't like, if you like Kenny,
finished fights guy, man.
Yeah. So April 9th, in front of more than 3 million people. So this is a ridiculous number. More than 3 million people watched this. So just to put it in retrospect, SmackDown every Friday night is normally the number one TV, normally the number one show on TV. It only gets like 2.5 million. So back in 2000, what was this? 2005. They pulled over 3 million. and what those fans, this wasn't even the main event, but what those fans in that building and what the fans that were watching on TV got was the greatest 15 minutes of fighting you'll ever see. Those guys beat the living shit out of one another. So let me just read a couple quotes and then I'll turn it over to y'all. So Joe Rogan said of this fight, "I would hate to have to score this fight." And that was everybody's words. And I still think that the score, I think the wrong person won, but that's for another day. So Forrest Griffin said that, "I remember Dana White came and told me right before the fight, we have to have a winner for the contract. So we might have to go to a 3-minute overtime." So these guys were preparing after the war that they had, 15 minutes. And if you guys haven't watched this fight, man, I implore you to go back and watch this. This was some shit here. 15 minutes, and they were preparing to go extra time. I remember in some fights on the Ultimate Fighter, a lot of times they didn't have a winner, so they'd have to go to extra rounds, and that's what they were prepared to do. So Forrest Griffin also said, and if you notice, Stephan and I both went back to our corners, assuming that there was going to be a 3-minute overtime round, because in their minds, they both thought that they won the fight. So now here's the controversial part. So according to the judges, all 3 judges scored the same thing unanimously, 29-28 on all 3 cards for Forrest Griffin. The fans booed the shit. I remember it because I just watched it recently. The fans booed the hell out of it. And when I watched it at first, I couldn't understand. But when I went back and I watched it, I'm like, man, they got it wrong. I'm like, they really got this wrong. And so everybody cheered. Bonnar, and as you see the thumbnail on the show, Bonnar and Griffin were holding each other's hands up, and then Bonnar just collapsed on the floor. And we'll save, after the guys give their thoughts on the fight, we'll save what happened at the end. All right, so you guys got it.
And go first, Bonez.
Oh, he fell off again?
No, man, I want to you asked me about your thoughts for the fight, right?
Yeah.
I felt like Forrest won the first round. As soon as the fight started, they both went out, and within 10 seconds, they were just throwing punches at each other. And when you watch that fight, it kind of puts in perspective how far mixed martial arts have come today, because you don't really see like as much technique as you would see now. You know, there are more so like just looping punches and a bunch of like overhand rights and hooks and stuff like that. Overall, it seemed like Forrest had the better grappling than Stephan Bonnar. He got cut real bad in the second round, I believe, inside his nose, and he was leaking pretty bad. And they paused the fight a little bit to check up on him, and they resumed the fight. But I remember watching this fight live, and I remember I had a VHS recorder, and I remember recording it because it was so good, and watching it back like the next day and the next day and the next day and stuff like that because it was so good. But it was a war, though. And overall, I loved it.
Yeah.
So you said that you thought Forrest won.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So initially, watching the fight, like, you know how you remember something one way, but then you go back and watch it and you be like, wait a minute, like, that's not how I remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Forrest winning, but when I went back and watched it, it's like I was thinking like, damn, like, I think maybe the wrong person won. But I say the swing round, because Bonnar was getting done in the first round until he started incorporating kicks. He did like a spinning heel kick to the body, kind of like Schnurpel did, and he half connected with it, and then that kind of changed the tides of the first round. So he was winning the first round, but I think the reason why they gave that first round probably to Griffin is because the way it ended, he was real close to getting an arm bar. So if they would have had like another 30, 45 seconds, he possibly could have finished it with that arm bar. That's the only justification I can see them giving him that first round. The second round, Bonner definitely won the second round, and he looked like he had more in his gas tank too, like during the second round. But once the second round was over, you see when the third round started, Bonner came out with one hand on his hip, like he was tired, and they were both gassed, and so the third round kind of slowed down. And I can't really say who won that third round. I can make a case for either guy. So, but I don't know. It was a tricky one to score. Definitely feel like they did the right thing by giving both guys the contract, because you don't really want to, like, 29-28 unanimous though. I don't see how they came up with that. Like all three of them, but those are the three guys that matter. It was definitely a classic though. It's one of those fights where honestly, I've watched it so many times, and then I haven't seen it in years because I've seen it so many times. But I went back and watched it like this week, and it was like you said, it was a testament to how far mixed martial arts has come. And sometimes I wonder, like some of those guys, like Tank Abbott, the superstars of yesteryear, like how would they hold up against the superstars of today?
They wouldn't,
because the evolution is crazy. Like they were training. You had some guys that were boxers, some guys that were kickboxers, some guys that trained in one art and decided, hey, I'll do mixed martial arts and try to learn some grappling or whatever it is I don't know. And nowadays you got kids going to MMA gyms where they're learning it all. So it's just like they come out as a better athlete.
Let me ask you, because like I said, I've always been a Forrest Griffin fan, but I watched it. I just watched it the other day, and I'm like, damn, Forrest, to me, he was getting hit a lot more than he was hitting. Bonnar was landing more cleaner shots. They both were gassed, but the fact that it was all 29-28 unanimous, and there wasn't a split decision, it reminds me of something. It reminds me of something I heard Dana White say one time. He was like, always finish the fight, don't leave it in the judge's hands. But Bonez said something. Bonez made a good point at the beginning, like that type of fight you can't do that now. Bro, they went 15 minutes and was preparing to go another 3. So they were preparing to go 18 minutes of just throwing haymakers. There was no rear naked chokes. There was no knee bars. There was nothing. Those dudes went out there and basically just threw punches for 15 minutes. Yep. You can't sustain that. Like who can do that? Nobody could do that type of fighting style.
That's why it's damn near impossible to break down technically.
It's like, okay, let's say a street fight. Let's say your regular street fight. So now it doesn't matter how as good as people think they could fight, man. After that 3-4 minute marker, man, you like, bro, you starting to huff and puff, especially when you're a bigger guy like me. You like, man, listen, man, I ain't getting ready sitting here and be throwing all these punches. I'm gonna try to grab a hole and choke you out. And then that's just what it is. You know, and Zay makes a good point too, where he's talking about, I mean, they're putting kids in MMA gyms from their babies now. So the styles that these guys have are ridiculous.
You was gonna say something, Bo? I thought he was gonna say something.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say something. Bonez must be getting it in or something.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna say something and then you cut out.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up that point what you made. All right, it's a huge difference. You know, when you have a kid like 8-9-year-old training MMA, as opposed to having that 8-9-year-old just train jiu-jitsu, and then when they decide to do MMA and they're like 18 years old, then they got to try to learn, other styles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it just evolved the sport so much, and it's so much, making the kids so much more athletic and so much better in the sport now. Because they're not just training one art. You're not just mastering one art. They're so well-rounded in all different arts.
Right. Like I look at Jocelyn now. She She's doing jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. But it's like I never want her to fight. Like as like a fighter, it's more so like a self-defense slash stay in shape, burn your energy off type of thing. But
Yeah.
it's just like 12-year-olds doing everything now. So by the time they come into MMA or get into the UFC or something like that, it's like they're very well rounded. And even the days where you had guys that were strictly wrestlers and they were just dominating the sport, and now you got guys that's good enough in wrestling to stop the takedown, and then they beast on the feet. So it's like
Yeah.
no really safe, no safe spot.
Look at Henry Cejudo. He's a good example.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys? Because again, like one of you asked earlier about the fighters of yesteryear that we used to praise and everything. So, how do you think a Randy Couture would have fared with today's heavyweights?
Not good. That's why he lost to Brock Lesnar.
So, meaning the heavyweights today are bigger though, because Randy Couture was not a big heavyweight; he's a small heavyweight.
Remember, he fought a light heavyweight a lot too. He moved up to heavyweight and he beat who was it that he beat? Was it Gonzaga?
Gabriel Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Or Verdum, one of them, either Verdum or Gonzaga.
And then he fight Tim Sylvia too. I'm not tripping.
Yeah, but everybody beat up Tim Sylvia. Yeah, he broke I think he broke Tim Sylvia's arm or his leg, something like that.
No, that was Frank Mir.
That was Frank Mir that broke it?
Broke his arm, yeah, with the Kimura.
Yeah, but Tim Sylvia was just a big lumbering guy that was there, like didn't really have no technique. You know what I mean? So it's like you put him in there now against one of these guys.
Yeah, he wouldn't stand a chance.
You put him in there with a Stipe or something like that, he's gonna get murdered. You know, or Ngannou, or you know, just these guys nowadays. So, what do you guys think about? All right, I'm gonna really see what y'all think. What do you think about BJ Penn?
Oh, I'm a huge BJ Penn fan.
How do you think he would fare? How do you think he would fare today?
It breaks my heart to say it, and it took me a long time to come to this realization, but I don't think he would be as good. I think he would be better than someone like a Randy Couture or Mark Coleman or Kevin Randleman or somebody like that. But, you know, he's another example. When he started fighting, granted he was a little bit old, but when he started fighting the more modern fighters, he was getting thrashed for the most part.
Yeah, he was. He stuck around way too long. I always respected BJ Penn, but you know how when you're a fan of a fighter and somebody beat that fighter, you hate that person now that beat him. So he beat Jens Pulver, and that made me feel some type of way. And then he demolished Diego Sanchez, and that really made me feel some type of way. So, but I appreciate him much more now looking back on it. But I feel like if he was in his prime today, he would probably be able to like hang with like the mid card, lower level fighters, like people right outside of the top 15. But I don't think he would ever be a champion.
So what about oh god, what's my boy name, man? The Canadian, the welterweight champion.
GSP?
Yeah, GSP.
GSP would do very well still, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
just
he was
want to say
one of
that
the most well-rounded. Go ahead.
Yeah, his style translate to today's MMA. You know what I mean? Because even if you look at his last fight, he was clearly not the same GSP, but at the same time,
every time, I'm telling you, every single time he about to drop something, he fall off. Every time.
Oh man. Mid-sentence too.
Bro, every single, and he probably over there talking over Storm right now.
Yeah, I was too. I was going there, man. Now I was just saying that I feel like his style would translate to today's MMA because he was well-rounded. He didn't excel in one particular area, but he was good at takedown defense. He was good at grappling. He was good at using that jab. he did have one of the best jabs. If you look at that fight against him and Koscheck, he jabbed Koscheck to death and literally broke his orbital bone just by jabbing him over 5 rounds. So I feel like GSP would translate today pretty good. Even if you look at his last fight when he was older against Bisbee, you know, that's a good example right there. He still did good. He was bloodied and messed up, and he still found a way to come back and win. I think it was a 4th round rear naked choke.
Yep.
I heard that they were in talks to get GSP to come back for another fight.
No, they wanted him to fight Khabib, and that's the fight they really wanted. Yeah,
that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work for Khabib or for GSP.
For GSP. You think GSP at this current state could beat Khabib?
Not at this current state, but prime GSP. I like GSP to beat Khabib.
Yeah, prime GSP probably would have been able to grind him out. That's one thing about GSP. He never was a finisher. Like all his fights went them down 5 rounds.
Yeah, he was kind of boring but efficient.
Yeah, that's what you could say about him. He never, I can't remember him finishing anybody. I'm pretty sure he did, but I just can't remember it. And I was watching all the GSP fights, but I just don't ever remember him finishing anybody. And I think Dana used to always throw, shots at him for that.
Only finish I remember him having is Matt Hughes. That's it. I'm sure he did finish more, but I remember Matt Hughes.
But that was after Matt Hughes shocked him, right, in the fight before.
Yeah.
So that was more that was more like a revenge thing. I'd say I used to watch this, man. I used to watch it. Yeah, Matt Hughes knocked him out, and then GSP came back in the rematch, and that probably was that revenge type shit, and he demolished him. But so all right, so Zay blew the lead. So Forrest Griffin won the fight, and that's when Dana came out and because of how good the fight was, because you could clearly see Bonnar thought he won, and he was in the ring about to cry because he like, damn man, I went through all this shit and now I'm about to walk away.
He was being a good sport about it though. He didn't get an attitude or nothing like that.
Yeah, but you could look at his face and tell he was ready to just.
Once he collapsed, he like, damn, like I did all that and they're not gonna give it to me. And
now he's just gonna walk away empty-handed. But then that's when I hear echo. That's when Dana White was like, because of what he did, that they're gonna give him two contracts. So now here's the thing. All right, so that's good and all for Stephan. But what about the guy that actually won? So now you mean to tell me I went through everything I had to go through, I won the competition, and now I got to share the spotlight with this guy. Now, granted, Forrest Griffin went on to have the better career because Forrest Griffin was lightweight champion, and he had a lot of high-profile matches. But the fact that this is his big night, his crowning achievement, he wins the UFC first annual Ultimate Fighter competition, and now he has to share the spotlight with the guy who he just beat unanimously. Like, what do you think was going through his mind?
Honestly, I don't think he would have minded too much because he just went through a war with this guy, and I feel like once you go through a war with somebody like that, it's like you gotta respect him, man. I don't think he was mad about it. I don't think I would have been. Because it's not like you knocked the guy out and then they give him a contract. So you thrashed the guy or whatever. It was a very close fight, and y'all both beat the hell out of each other and bloodied each other up. So
he seemed like a pretty humble guy, so I don't think he really had a problem with it. And he was probably thinking, well, at least I got this Scion in this watch.
I forgot about the watch. I remember the ugly ass Scion. No. So okay, wait a minute, because we know how we are. Well, I'll say I know how I am. I go through all of this. The rules of the competition is the winner is going to get X, X, and X. And nobody ever said anything about runner up. But now I win. I go through this war. and I win unanimously again. It ain't like it was no split decision or anything, unanimously. And now you're gonna tell me that you're gonna give my the guy I just beat the same thing that I just won. So like, what was the point?
Hey,
I mean, maybe it's just me.
They
But
probably look at it like the point was you saved the company. But I mean, I get exactly where you're coming from. I never looked at it from that aspect. A lot of people would have been pissed, like, damn, like, so I just did all that for nothing. I could have lost and still got the contract.
And I didn't think about that until just now. I'm just sitting here looking and I'm like, well, wait a minute. This man should, you know what it again is like. I could always bring it to wrestling. It's like the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels thing at WrestleMania 12. Shawn Michaels wins the belt. They go time limit draw. The referee, they add more time to go into sudden death. Shawn Michaels wins the belt. Bret Hart now wants to steal his spotlight or get some heat back on him and give him the belt. So it makes it look like, oh, you know, don't forget about me, even though I just lost. I'm Mr. Bret Hart. So Shawn Michaels, so Shawn Michaels tells the referee, tell him to get the fuck out of my ring, because this is my moment. And I feel like, and I feel like that's how it was. You think about it, look at it. It's the whole Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior thing. Ultimate Warrior wins the match. Hulk Hogan has to go get the belt so he can get the heat back on him. Hulk Hogan's leaving and everybody's looking at him instead of the champion that's in the ring. And I just feel like we always compare, because of what that did. I swear to you, I'm just now thinking about this now. I had not thought about this a second before. I'm thinking of it now. What that did is forever tied those two together. As far as okay, Forrest Griffin did this, but Stephan did this. Forrest Griffin had a good fight with this guy. Oh no, but Stephan had a better fight with him. Maybe Stephan should have been the winner. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I used to watch there's so many examples, but the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels thing was perfect, where Shawn Michaels was like, "No, tell him get the fuck out of my ring. Like, let's do that, because you're not gonna steal my spotlight." And Bonez, I keep bringing that up because I know that's digging you, but you're not gonna steal my spotlight and do what you want to do. So. But I swear to you, like, I legit just sat here and thought about that, man. Can you imagine the pressure that now puts on him? I win the contract. I'm the one. I'm going to go on to win the light heavyweight title. This guy obviously is going to fight the same guys that I fight. So if I fight a guy and we go to 3 rounds, but he finishes the guy in the first, all the pundits are going to be like, boy, you know what? They gave the contract to the wrong guy. Or, well, they both got contracts, but the wrong guy won.
Hey, you know they ran it back though, right?
Yeah. I don't remember that one though.
I didn't remember it either, but I watched it. It was pretty entertaining, but it wasn't nearly as much of a brawl as the first one. They were both seemed like they both evolved as fighters.
They got smart.
Excuse me. So yeah, but it was a pretty good fight. But that one you can say that Forrest decisively won.
Yeah.
So Griffin took that one too.
Yeah. For real. He
finished him or just
it was 3 rounds, but when it was over, they both knew which way it was gonna go.
Okay, I gotta watch that one, because the first one I would have gave it to Bonnar. And look at that. And then because it wasn't so clear cut, because when the fight was over and they announced the winner, the fans were booing. So the fans knew Bonnar really won. Like the fans had Bonnar, so it's like, well, damn. Am I really the ultimate fighter? It's like, how bad, man? Forrest Griffin had to be feeling like shit. He probably was. I mean, he got a 6-figure contract. He was happy that it was over. He got the Scion. He got the watch, and he has the title that he's the ultimate fighter.
On the flip side, they could always say the right person won, because look who became champion and look who didn't.
Well,
yep.
All right, so we'll get into what happened at the end. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm doing what I hate to see other YouTubers do. eating and shit in the camera. Hold on. Damn, these some Oreos. So both guys went on to be UFC Hall of Famers. So
Stephan Stephan was a Hall of Famer because they both got inducted because of that fight.
Yeah, I think that fight is in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if Stephan Bonnar is.
No, he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just looked at it. He is. So they both the UFC Hall of Famers. Forrest Griffin went on to become the UFC light heavyweight champion. Forrest Griffin had a bunch of, I think Forrest may have had a bunch more higher profile fights, but
yeah,
Stephan
he had a Tito Ortiz trilogy that was pretty high profile, where he fought Tito Ortiz 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Forrest is a good Forrest. Wait a minute, who? Forrest or Stephan?
No, Forrest.
Yeah, okay,
Tito. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Stephan always was like, he was always a good. Stephan was I don't want to try to man like that. I was about to say he's always a good Dolph Ziggler, but nah, he's better than that. But just just that.
I was gonna say Barry Horowitz.
No, you try to man like that. but like he was always the guy. If you needed a good fight, you could always plug him in.
Yeah.
So it was like, so he had a good career. So, but unfortunately on December 22nd, 2022, he passed away. So, let me see. And I didn't even realize this, man. He was, how old was he? I guess I should be able to just do the math right there. He was born in 1977, died in 2022. So he was like, 45. Yeah, so he died at the age of 45. Let me see the cause of death. You guys know where the cause of death was? Oh, heart complications. Yeah, but he was dealing with a lot of stuff, man, to where like he was getting kicked out of gyms and stuff for not wanting to wear a mask during the the whole pandemic and stuff like that. So it was towards the end of his life, he was dealing with some issues. But yeah, man. So rest in peace to him. But I think that fight will always just be remembered as, like you say, the fight is in the Hall of Fame. Like the fight itself is in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy when you put an inanimate object in the Hall of Fame.
I think Forrest's best performance was when he fought against Rampage for the belt, because he was able to use those leg kicks for 5 rounds, and he really messed up his leg, and that's how he was able to win the belt. And
so it was Rampage that he beat.
Yeah, he beat Rampage. He fought him, and he beat him by decision.
Yeah, I would say that was the highlight of his career, whereas with Stephan Bonnar,
oh no,
I would say. Go ahead.
Hey, bro, his victory against Shogun, bro, that probably got to be like even better than the Rampage. The Rampage was good because it was for the belt, but his fight against Shogun, because Shogun had just came from Pride. This is when UFC bought Pride out, and Shogun he had that destroyer mentality. He had that reputation, and when he came to the UFC, his first fight was against Forrest, and everybody expected Forrest to get smashed because Shogun was a legend in Pride. You know what I'm saying? Knocking everybody out and stuff like that. And then Forrest ended up submitting him in the second round, I believe. And that's when he had his little pose where he ran with his hands in the air and dropped to the octagon and stuff like that, a little celebration or whatever.
Yeah, he was a huge underdog in that fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was a pretty big victory, but I wouldn't put that over winning the title though. I would say that was probably the highlight.
I think that fight got him the title shot, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah. Because he fought Shogun and then he fought Rampage. And bro, those two performances were like those prime Forrest right there.
And whereas I would say Stephan Bonner's, the highlight of his career was the fight against Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
And the low light of both of their careers was for Stephan Bonnar, it was against John Jones. And but that was before we knew that John Jones was John Jones. And for Forrest Griffin, it was against Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva, when he ran out of the ring. Hey, bro, I don't know what the hell was going on that night. Like, he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, Anderson Silva embarrassed him pretty much. He was matrixing him. Everything he threw, he couldn't connect. And then Anderson would just counter with the 1-2. Bap, bap. Like, he was out of the way, and then he was just there. Like the Magic Man on a Punch Out.
Yeah, what was it? God, yeah, that was embarrassing, man. Like that, I know Dana White was pissed after that fight because Forrest, like, legit just ran out of the ring. I'm like, damn, what was that? What? Yeah, that was crazy, man. But you guys got any final words on this match before I close it down?
Yeah, I don't got no final words on this match, but I do have final words. Go Heat. I think it's halftime right now.
What's the score?
Last time I checked, I think they were up by 10 at halftime.
And what did I pick? That series? Bucks and 5.
I don't remember. I got it in my phone. I think so.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean the Heat. Yeah.
I know. I already know.
I don't really got nothing to add as far as that fight, but I will say that I was pleasantly surprised that you tuned in last night, especially for as long as you did. And I'm glad that the card turned out the way it did while you was watching.
Yeah. Well, you know why I tuned in though, because you said that it was you. See, I guess you may have said that the main card was starting. I thought you said the main event was starting at 8. So when I turned in at 8, I'm like, damn, what? Because when I looked at what time it started at 5:30. I'm like, well, yeah, so the main event should be coming up. But I'm like, damn, why they keep having all these fights? Like, what's going on? I mean, that show was over 7 hours long. But I mean, for the maybe 4 hours that I caught was tremendous. Like, I mean, them Joker, those were some hits. Now, I mean, that's if you wanna get somebody back, like, that's what you do. You show them that.
Right.
But I fell asleep on the main event, not because it was boring. I was just tired. I mean, I was up since like 6 o'clock that morning, and to sit there, I can't watch a 7-hour WrestleMania, and I love WWE, but I just can't do it. Last night was supposed to be my debate, but it got rescheduled. Is supposed to be rescheduled to this Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Technical difficulties aside, though, I feel like it was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Chicken shit in the chicken salad.
So, hey, man, that's what go down over here. A lot of people would have folded and just shut the show down, but I can't shut the show down. I mean, we just gonna have to try to pivot. I was sitting here in my mind, like wrapping my mind around and trying to figure out what the hell to do, and then I thought about it. I'm like, well, damn, maybe if I try this might work. So yeah, it's just weird though that that he couldn't hear you. I don't. Yeah, that part was weird though that he couldn't hear you. But I guess I don't know. I guess, but yeah, man. But I appreciate you guys coming through. Like you said, technical difficulties aside, I still think we had a great show, and we're approaching that 2-hour mark in 47 seconds. So, we definitely I want to know. Definitely got to get Trevor back on. April 29th. Card starts at what, 8 o'clock?
7 or 8, something like that. I think it's at 7.
7:00 Gulfstream Park in Hollandale. Trevor Schnurpel, if you blink, it might be over because he likes to finish them. So, tune into that. He'll definitely be back. Zayo had me a landscaped video that I that I could play. Of the fight. Highlights of the fight. I don't doubt we could play the whole fight, but highlights of the fight. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Peace.
All right, guys. It was a pleasure. Peace.
All right, peace out. Well, Straight Talk Society. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We had a lot of technical difficulties at the beginning, but it's all good. We fought through it, and we made it do what it do. And like I said, in the words of the great Jim Ross, it's live. We're live, pal. So you never know what to expect when you're on live YouTube. But I think we saved it. We saved it just fine. Thank you to our special guest that came on, Trevor Schnurpel. He does have a fight April 29th at Gulfstream Park, starting at 7:00, a mixed martial arts fight. And he'll definitely be on. He was a great sport, and he'll be a great addition over here. Actually, to hear from a real fighter and like what he's looking at in the ring and things like that, this is really good, man. I appreciate the brothers getting that interview for me, man. That was a good thing. Like I say, my debate was supposed to be last night with Madan Komet, but that was postponed until this Wednesday. We're supposed to have it this Wednesday at 8:00. So hopefully we have that over on SVDL. I'm looking forward to that debate. So, hopefully. And I appreciate that, Ricardo. Yeah, hopefully we had that debate. I was contacted. I'm gonna tell you, man, the Straight Talk Society thing is going great. Oh, before I get into that, because I don't want to put the cart before the horse or whatever they say. Tomorrow night at 6:00, just check the page and you'll see the premiere button. But tomorrow night at I want to say 6:00, we are having a special show called Open Mic. Yep, you got it right. Mike is going to have a live microphone and he's going to have a show all to himself. I'm assuming him and Dr. Mia are going to argue about something. I won't be on it. I'll just be in the back, making sure everything goes smooth. But yeah, tomorrow night at 6, be sure to tune into that Open Mic. Mike will be over here. Mike is Straight Talk Society, so he'll be over here doing his thing, doing his Michaelisms. So no female can cut him off. I can't time him out or anything. He's gonna be able to just do what he does and get his shit off. So tune in. I don't know what to tell you to expect. I can say just tune in. It should be fun. That's Monday. No, sorry, that's Tuesday. Sorry about that. That's this Tuesday. No, it is Monday. Wait a minute. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday. Just look at the channel. Wednesday, I have had my debate with Madan. Thursday, April 20th at 8 p.m. is episode number 2 of Pour Your Heart Out. That's the all women's panel over here on the Straight Talk Society. Those women, the 10-woman panel, they are gonna go off. They're gonna get their stuff in. It's gonna be tremendous. If this episode is anything like the first one, it is going to be fantastic. So you see Queen B, you see Nene, Martrina, Shaka, Shaquesta, Lex, the legend, Dr. Mia, they're all over here. They'll all be over here doing their thing. So that's April 20th at 8 p.m. Then Friday, we don't know the time yet, but Friday, April 21st, we will have myself and Nene will be doing a 10-year anniversary show. April 21st is our actual 10-year wedding anniversary. So before we go out for all our festivities that night, we're going to do a show together in that afternoon, kind of just talking about our first 10 years together. So tune into that. That'll probably be around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday, April 21st. So we got a lot of stuff lined up for you, man. A lot of stuff lined up over here on the Straight Talk Society. I did release a new podcast today. Finally, I have been neglecting the podcast, but I did release a new podcast today, a shorter version of the show we did over here a week ago. She Can't Wear That. So it's a more condensed version. So you're not going to get the whole thing. The whole thing will still be on YouTube, but a condensed version is on the podcast feed right now. So be sure to check that out. If you can't watch, you could at least have it playing and listening in the background. Yeah. So I feel like I'm about to lose my voice. I've just been doing all this talking. So again, thanks to Zay, thanks to Bonez, thanks to our special guest, Trevor Schnurpel, for coming on. Technical difficulties be damned. We still made it do what it do, still made it happen. So to the Straight Talk Society, those of you watching in the clouds, those of you in the chat, thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Ridiculous!